Well, one Lubbock eatery is back open after health inspectors forced it to close, and it's not the only restaurant on the low performer list tonight.
KCBD News Channel 11's Christy Harton has this week's food for thought. Christy.
Karen and Abner, we have a trio of bad news on the menu tonight, so let's get straight to those violations.
Hub City Brews at 7706 Milwaukee is back open after the Lubbock Health Department forced them to close their doors for 24 hours and clean up. They were cited with 44 violations. Here's a look at their priority violations. A container of peppers was visibly molded. It had a discard date of back in December. Uncut lemons were molded. Several items were not labeled and did not have a date mark, including a pan of sauce with a single service cup floating inside the sauce and a pan of thick white sauce. Single portions of unlabeled mustard sauces did not have a date mark and had crusted areas under the lid. Other sauces had use-by dates dating back to November. A container of grill shortening had a December discard date. Queso did not have a date mark. The deflector plate inside the ice machine was visibly soiled and touching the ice. Raw bacon was stored above ready-to-eat lemons. All prep tables were visibly dusty and soiled. Plastic lids had black residue on them. Glasses were stored inverted on a visibly dirty shelf. Bowls were stored inverted on dirty serving trays. A can opener blade was dirty. A stainless steel pan was dirty. A can of jalapenos was dented. This can cause botulism. Toxic items were not stored properly. Trash cans were blocking a hand sink. There was no soap at the hand sink in the men's restroom. The floor drain by the walk-in cooler was not draining and was full of wastewater. A cutting board was stained and damaged. The gaskets on the reach-in cooler were visibly damaged. And the inspector notes, due to the number and the nature of the violations, food safety knowledge was not demonstrated. The facility was closed for 24 hours and was allowed to reopen after its reinspection. Raider Burrito at 2102 19th had 23 violations. Here's a look at their priority violations. Ready-to-eat beef fajitas were held 15 days past their discard date. Chicken fajitas were held 3 days too long. Hot dogs were held 8 days past their use-by date. Sausage did not have a use-by date. Raw ground beef was stored above whole cuts of raw pork. A knife was dirty. Other knives were missing tips and metal along the blade edge. An ice bucket was broken and had black debris in it. An aerosol can of insecticide was labeled for residential use only. An oven thermometer was used to measure the ambient air temperature of a cooler. It has a minimum temperature reading of 150 degrees. A bucket and a scrub pad were in a hand sink. Hand sinks are for hand washing only to prevent cross-contamination. An employee turned off the hand sink with their bare hands. A barrier, like a paper towel, must be used to prevent cross-contamination. The report shows most of the violations were corrected at the time of the inspection. The Catch at 5111 82nd had 17 violations. Here's a look at their priority violations. Raw fish was above the safe cold temperature of 41 degrees. Milk did not have a date mark. Clean service wares still had food residue on them. Plastic service utensils were cracked, broken, or melted. This does not allow for proper sanitation. The sanitizer solution in the dishwasher was not strong enough, and there were no test strips for the sanitizer. An employee washed their hands for only 5 seconds. Hand washing must be done for at least 20 seconds. A spray bottle of cleanser was not stored properly. The report shows most of the violations were corrected while the inspector was there.
For a look at all of those violations, just head to our website at kcbd.com and click on Food for Thought. Karen and Abner, back to you.
Thank you.